Welcome. It's indisputable. I'm your host, Rashad Richey. Good to be with you. We have a lot on the agenda today, breaking down news of the day. None other than my dear brother, Ricky Smiley, host of the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Always fascinating to have his brilliant analysis. We have breaking news. Here it is.
Months ago, we learned from CBS News sources that Israel and Hamas have struck a ceasefire deal. We're still waiting to hear the exact details in that deal brokered in Qatar. But according to CBS News sources, one of the most recent proposals would stop fighting in Gaza for more than 40 days, the release of dozens of hostages and hundreds of Palestinian prisoners.
We have been covering this at Indisputable since day one. We are well aware of the humanitarian crisis and the brutal assault of innocent civilians due to this thing called war, retribution. Right now, there are many who are celebrating the news because they are hoping for a better tomorrow. We pontificate about it. They have to live in it. This is obviously something that some are looking at in a very cautious manner because we've been here before. We have dealt with this line of thinking prior, and we also know who's behind it. It's unpredictable as they come. Ricky, you have stood for human life. You have stood for and really at the criticism of others. You've been criticized by others because of it, but you stand for individuals to have freedom and have life. How does this news strike you?
Yeah, I'm just glad, Dr. Richard, because a lot of people, innocent people, children going to school, mothers going to work, fathers going to work, have lost their lives in the famine that has taken place or whatever. It's a lot of people. Now, I know this country just seems to be pro-Israel on every single thing and every single issue. And there's a lot of Palestinians that have been affected by this. And you just can't paint all of the Palestinians as terrorists. You understand? And that's just my humble take on this situation. I just hope that people are reunited with their families, some of the Israelites and some of the, and the Palestinians as well. And I just hope that we never get into this space again. Yeah.
The greater view is war is never necessary. Once we believe that war is necessary, we've already lost the battle.
Yes,
war
sir.
is never a necessary evil. It is necessary never. We have to always contend that. The dynamics at play currently are, as they have been shared, very brief. There's hopefully concession here. There's hopefully an opportunity to move forward, and there's no more death. But when you look at the fallout from American policies and American politicians to others in the region, to how we have dealt with our domestic and international policies, college students being arrested on campuses, expelled from higher education because they dare to stand up for the rights of the innocent, those who are in Congress who dare to stand up for the rights of children, for the rights of grandmothers who simply wanted to live. And when you look at the average age of an individual, let's say in Gaza and Palestinian, you're talking about the average age is 19.1 years of age. And for the vast majority of males, they're not even of voting age. And so you can't make a political argument that they somehow supported the terrorism that did take place. And so this was retribution. And, Ricky, I gotta say, man, this was my first time. And I go back and I echo some of the sentiment of Jimmy Carter, former president who recently passed away. I'm proud to be a senior advisor at the Carter Center because he was right when many in the Democratic Party did not think thoughtfully about the situation in the Middle East at all. And he was a thoughtful thinker. Even if you disagreed with him, he was thoughtful about the context. So now you see in an international way, from South Africa to other nations. They're saying, listen, this is going too far. The United Nations has already spoken. I mean, he has a criminal warrant. Netanyahu has a criminal warrant, basically, his arrest because of war crimes. Have you seen in your broadcasting career something like this turn so just extreme in the middle of a war?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like it, and it just seems like everything is moving to the extreme right. When you look at what is his name, Netanyahu?
Yeah.
The prime minister, and some of his antics and things that he say, and some of his action, because the United Nations is not going to wake up out of their sleep and decide that they want to get at somebody for crime, war crimes. And it's just, and I'm sure it's a lot of beef to that. That almost never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's very rare that the United Nations come together. That's the United Nations coming together. So there is some wrong, but I think a lot of people in the United States and senators and different people in Congress and Democrats and Republicans just looking at this from a political standpoint and having to stand on one side because they don't want to reap the repercussions of being on that side to not get reelected. That's why I just always agree with people just serving one term so they could do the right thing. Did that make any sense, Dr. Richie?
You made a great point about the political side of this. You have the political measure, then you have the humanitarian measure.
Yes.
If you measure this politically, you measure your words. If you measure this by the humanitarian standards, you said, damn the measuring rod. It's time to speak up and speak loudly. I'm very proud of those who spoke up and lost a job. They didn't lose the job. They just lost a job. And rightfully so. I prefer to lose a job as a righteous man than lose a job being corrupt. So very proud of them for doing so. We got more on the other side. We'll bring you updates as they come. Right now, details are not plenty at the moment, but if there are more, we will bring it to you during the broadcast. Indisputable. Stick and stay.
Hey everyone, Mateo Scarapore here, author of Black Buck, which is Shop TYT's first fiction book ever. I'm honored. So, Black Buck is about a young man named Darren who's living in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. He lives with his mom, he has his girlfriend, he has his best friend, he has his neighborhood, and his neighborhood has him. Darren's also working at a Starbucks in Midtown Manhattan. And one day, this man, real suave and good looking, comes in and asks Darren to give him his regular. But for some reason, Darren says no. This man named Rhett Daniels, who's the CEO of a startup called Someone, located on the 36th floor of the same building, is impressed. And he invites Darren upstairs, and then he extends an offer to join his elite sales team. Darren reluctantly joins, and he soon realizes that he's not the only black salesperson there. He's the only black person in the entire company. So he goes through hell and back in order to make it to the top. And once there, he has status, money, power, but he says, you know what? I don't like being the token black guy. So he hatches a plan to help other people of color infiltrate America's tech startup sales teams, redefining what it means to be a minority in the workplace. This book definitely, if you couldn't tell, touches on many things that are relevant to this moment that we're all living in right now. But it's also connected to the many moments in history that have come before today. I hope that you read it. I hope that you enjoy it. And if you want to order a copy, go to shoptyt.com. Thank you, be well, and happy 2021.
Here's the inside scoop on diners in LA. You want good pastrami sandwich, you go to Factors. You want to see some people in the business, you go to Nate and Al's. You want the best variety? My secret spot's the Nosh. Now here's the inside scoop on politics and news. You go watch the Young Turks live every day at 6 o'clock Eastern.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. A lot of show left. Let me read some of these comments. Yep, Scorpius Cores. Nice to see you. Nice to see the doc back, and Ricky too. Yes, always good to have our dear brother on. And good day from Australia. Yes, I'm going to let you know when I'm lecturing in Australia. All right, I hope to see you. All right, hug your neck, say hello. And Tyler Hackner should have never taken a year. Damn right, it should not have. But he wanted to, well, get revenge on innocent civilians who had nothing to do with the initial attack, which turned the PR relations completely against his entire government. Make a distinction. It's a difference between the people of Israel and the government of Israel, just as there's a difference between the people of America and the government of America. Right. All right, hell of a thing. New York cop accuses and handcuffs a child, 11 years of age, a black girl, for what? Doing absolutely nothing wrong. Here it is.
Wait, I'm actually so confused. I'm scared. There's another one right there. I'm staying with her. You guys can keep going. No, I gotta stay with her. This is my sister. We're coming from school. We were literally all just playing in the yard.
Okay, well, like I just said, you're just being detained right now.
It's not her. I promise. We have. That's not her. Wait, can I get her phone this time?
Everything's a lie and tell me that's not you.
I'm lying. That's not. Look at her shoes on. Wait, her shoes have no paper on it.
You can't see. Listen, it is what it is. If you're honest, it'll make it easy. It's not her.
See, always trying to lie.
All right, come in, undo your handcuffs now, okay? So you're gonna grab your backpack forward.
This is crazy. This is crazy, Rick. All right.
I mean, I'm sorry. You can see how they could match that. Just like
I don't. The braids are way longer. That's two different heights.
Put up the picture for Mace. I'm going to give you the background to this story, as much information as we currently have. As you just saw, a New York cop handcuffed a crying black 11-year-old child walking home, falsely accusing this baby of stealing a whole damn car. The clip showed deputies from the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office in Syracuse, New York, placing an 11-year-old child in handcuffs as her friends watch. Now, in case you couldn't hear, quote, she can't drive, one of the other children proclaims. Quote, what do you mean? The female deputy questions. Quote, most kids can't drive and they're still out here stealing cars. End quote. Quote, that's a 6th grader. Another child, this time a male child, states. Do you find it ironic that the children have more investigative, deductive reasoning than the police? You see, they are utilizing context clues. Number one, it's an 11-year-old child. Did you know how to drive when you were 11? You probably would have gotten in a car with both feet, pedal gas. They're trying to tell the officers to calm down, slow their bias, take another look at the situation. The girl's mother, Miss Mackenzie Brianna, Miss Brianna recently posted the videos to her Facebook page, stating that her daughter was released at school at 1:55 p.m., less than an hour before deputies detained her. Quote, when did she have time to steal a Kia? Question mark. If she did steal the Kia, where is it? Question mark. Why would she be talking down the street, playing in the snow with her friends? The mother wrote tag in the sheriff's office profile. Once again, what is the mother doing? Deductive reasoning, context clues, critical thinking. And really, it doesn't take that much critical thinking because, as you can clearly see, other sixth graders, other children are able to critically think more so than the police. Now, why is it that the cops did not take a second look? Review the situation again. Analyze whatever data they had, whatever information they received, and contextualize it against the current scenario. Why is it? Could it be because they perhaps had innate bias? Would you assume that the child playing with friends is the person who stole the Kia? Would you assume that? 11-year-old child? All right, Ricky, our babies are routinely done this way for other instances. Sometimes they're more minor, just, kind of the aggressive look and the obvious bias of believing they're doing wrong when they're simply playing. But this child literally had to experience being arrested because of the bias of two cops who refused to listen to context clues, who refused to listen to reason, and who refused to listen to the other children telling them what was happening. What say you?
I guess it would have been different if they'd had a Syracuse University helmet on, or Alabama or Georgia helmet. I guess that's what we're gonna have to put all black people in white college football helmets. I would have been. I'm not surprised. I would have been surprised if the police officer would have got a phone number and called and got the parents on the phone. I would have been surprised had he not put the handcuffs on. I would have actually been surprised had he not put the handcuff on the little girl or whatever. None of this stuff shocked me. This is going on all over the country, and just imagine the stuff that go on that don't make it to video or don't make it when the police officers turn their cameras off. And the only reason, and we all know it, the only reason why you put that baby in those handcuffs and antagonized and mistreated her because she was black. And if she was a little white girl, they would not have done it. And I stand on that, and I said what I said. It's the same racial profiling that's been going on for years. And he knew what he was doing. And I hope that he loses his job for it. I hope the governor and the feds get involved, because whenever you start attacking children, imagine the trauma that this child got to go through. Now, what if she need the police for real? Who do you think she gonna call?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That's the macrocosm of this, is that when black folk call the police, somebody has damn near be dead or dying.
Right.
And it's a psychological dynamic that says, even though I'm in the right, if I call the police, my life and everybody's life here can change forever.
Yeah.
Just because they got something wrong.
Yeah.
Very sad. Many states, they have actually passed laws now making it illegal for cops to handcuff minors because cops were out of control with handcuffing minors. We're going to see what happens with this case. We'll bring you updates as they come. This story is going to make your blood boil. Put up the picture full mask. I'm going to tell you a story about a school aide whose negligence resulted in the death of a 6-year-old with special needs. New Jersey school bus aide has been convicted of child endangerment nearly 6 months after being arrested for the death of a 6-year-old child with special needs who suffocated while in her care. Her defense has now tried to blame the parents. This is an update. On July 17, 2023, Davila, who was assigned as an aide on a bus headed to an extended school year program just outside of New York City, secured the nonverbal wheelchair-bound 6-year-old into a seat after she boarded. During the ride, the bus hit several bumps. These bumps in the road causing Williams to slip from her seat. Her neck caught onto the 4-point harness of her seat. which wound up strangling the child. Parents, Barr's parents, said their daughter was in that life-threatening position for nearly 40 long minutes. Surveillance video shows the moments William slipped in her seat while Davila, who was seated toward the front of the bus, was wearing earbuds while looking at her phone. Neither Davila nor the other children on the bus were all seated in front of the 6-year-old, saw the child struggling. Quote, I was scrolling through apps to go onto Instagram and texting, end quote, Davila testified. After the bus arrived at Claremont Elementary School, Davila helped 2 of the other kids off the bus before unstrapping Williams, who was at that point motionless and unresponsive. The aide called faculty members to help her, and a school nurse performed CPR. Put the picture back up. I want to remind everyone she is a bus aide, which means her primary duty, actually her only obligation, is to aid in making sure nothing like that ever happens. It also means she has specialized training. That specialized training gives her the do's and don'ts. And because she has specialized training and because she's in a position of public trust, she also has what's called a duty to care. That is a legal standard. A jury found Davila guilty of child endangerment, but cleared her of the manslaughter charges that she faced. The 27-year-old's defense attorneys argued that the victim's older sister improperly buckled the 6-year-old into her seat on the bus that day, which contributed to the child's death. Here's what the defense attorney says, quote, it's the parent's responsibility to buckle the top and bottom parts. The parents, I guess she delegated to her 14-year-old daughter that day, did put the top part. She didn't put the bottom. And that's why the little girl slipped. If that bottom harness was fastened, it would not have happened. Defense attorney Michael Pila Castro said, quote, I feel bad for what happened. And I'm so sorry that it did happen and I made a mistake. This is what she told the court. Quote, you guys are trying to put me in jail for 10, 20 years for a mistake. I'm partially to blame, but there's other people to blame too, not just me. Put up the picture full mass again. All right? So you want to blame a 14-year-old after killing the 14-year-old's sibling. You are a stand-up human being for sure. You're not saying you didn't kill her. You're just saying other people contributed to it. Well, listen, keep that picture up. If you're on this role, attorney, what about the bumps in the road? They contributed to the death. Let's charge the city. How about the person driving the bus? How about when the bus had to stop at a red light? Let's sue the contractor. You see, this is a never-ending dynamic. The one person responsible, the one human being who had an obligation, a duty to care, meaning a responsibility that's legally binding, was the person on trial. There's more. Prosecutor said there's no evidence to prove that the family was at fault. This was just conjecture. Davila faces a maximum penalty of 10 years behind bars for the child endangerment conviction. Had she been convicted of manslaughter, she could have faced 10 to 20 years more. She'll be sentenced on March 7th. We will follow this and give you the updates when it happens. Ricky, a story like this, man, because it's so avoidable, if you just follow very, very simple protocol. And when we put, and when I say we, as parents, as fathers, when we put our babies in your care, we expect everyone who follows a protocol to follow their protocol, because those protocols are in place for safety, not for convenience of you to go through Instagram, but for the safety of the child. And the defense was, in my opinion, was so extreme. They had not a lick of evidence to present for that defense, but they proclaimed it anyway, now trying to bring in the 14-year-old child who was being a dutiful sibling into this case. What say you?
Yeah, there's absolutely no accountability. The fact that she's shifting blame, is that what you say to a parent, to some parent that have to go and pick a casket out? And I have to tell you, you 27, you young or whatever, you have not experienced nothing bad until you have lost a child, have to bury your own child. And that's really sad. And it is your responsibility to double check. Put the phone down. How about that? How about all young people? Y'all so addicted to those cell phones that you can't take an order at a restaurant. You can't ring up nothing. And you act like we getting on your nerve when we come stand in line to order a hamburger because we interrupting your time on Instagram. I get it all the time. You can't drive, the light turn green, you won't go through the light. You are so addicted to your electronic that to the point where you're doing stuff like that by not paying attention to small details. Somebody had to pay for it with their life, and for you to be unapologetic about it and blaming from the potholes to the or whatever, accepting no responsibility and accountability to anything. And if that was her family member or whatever, a better attitude would be different towards this whole situation. I just want to offer my condolences to the family that lost a little girl. And I am so sorry that they had to deal with that and go through that. And may God bless them.
Amen. I echo your sentiment. We'll bring updates as they come. All right. Well, here's a twist. Elon Musk sued by who? The SEC. Let's put it up. What's going to happen to old Elon? Probably not much, but we shall see. Elon Musk sued by the SEC over alleged failure to disclose Twitter stock on time. He plays this game with them every few years. I think he likes it. The Securities and Exchange Commission filed a lawsuit against the tech billionaire Elon Musk, accusing him of failing to disclose his ownership of Twitter stock in a timely manner in early 2022. So according to the SEC, the omission actually allowed Musk to save by at least $150 million on shares he purchased after surpassing the 5% ownership threshold. The SEC's complaint claims Musk began buying Twitter shares early that year and crossed that 5% mark by March. At that point, federal securities law required Musk to disclose his stake within 10 days publicly. But he delayed until after April 4th, missing the deadline by 11 days. This alleged violation prompted the SEC to launch an investigation in April of 2022, examining whether Musk had breached security laws in connection with his Twitter stock purchases and related filings. Quote, the SEC authorized the probe to determine if there were any infractions tied to Musk's acquisition of shares and his statements, the agency noted. The legal saga adds another chapter to the tumultuous history with Twitter after signaling a deal to acquire the platform in April 2022. He attempted to back out, leading the company to sue to enforce the agreement. Here's the thing. We saw Elon Musk violate federal election law by handing a man a check on stage for voting, for registering to vote. It is 100% statutorily illegal to pay someone to vote or to register to vote. It is laid out in plain English in the code. What did they tell Elon Musk to do? To apologize. Take the money back and then give it to him another way. And so they made the guy like a consultant or something. All right, Ricky. So here's my conclusion. Now the damn thing's going to happen to Elon Musk. That's just where I'm at with it. What say you?
Right. Dr. Richard, the whole while you was telling that story, I'm sitting up here thinking, you talking about the SEC, and I'm sitting up here like, no wonder Alabama and Georgia ain't going in playing in the national championship this year. And maybe he the reason Nick Saban is gone. Man, I was about to throw my phone across the room. Man, I was about to go find Elon Musk myself because I thought you was talking about the Southeastern Conference. Because being from Birmingham, when you say SEC, that's the only thing an Alabama fan can think of. Okay? So next time you bring me on this show and you start talking about SEC, you need to clarify because over here is Roll Damn Tide.
You are correct, dear sir. I should have known that. I went to law school in Alabama. I knew better. All right, we got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
Hey everyone, Mateo Scarapore here, author of Black Buck, which is Shop TYT's first fiction book ever. I'm honored. So, Black Buck is about a young man named Darren who's living in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. He lives with his mom, he has his girlfriend, he has his best friend, he has his neighborhood, and his neighborhood has him. Darren's also working at a Starbucks in Midtown Manhattan. And one day, this man, real suave and good looking, comes in and asks Darren to give him his regular. But for some reason, Darren says no. This man named Rhett Daniels, who's the CEO of a startup called Someone, located on the 36th floor of the same building, is impressed. And he invites Darren upstairs, and then he extends an offer to join his elite sales team. Darren reluctantly joins, and he soon realizes that he's not the only black salesperson there. He's the only black person in the entire company. So he goes through hell and back in order to make it to the top. And once there, he has status, money, power, but he says, you know what? I don't like being the token black guy. So he hatches a plan to help other people of color infiltrate America's tech startup sales teams, redefining what it means to be a minority in the workplace. This book definitely, if you couldn't tell, touches on many things that are relevant to this moment that we're all living in right now. But it's also connected to the many moments in history that have come before today. I hope that you read it. I hope that you enjoy it. And if you want to order a copy, go to shoptyt.com. Thank you, be well, and happy 2021.
Here's the inside scoop on diners in LA. You want good pastrami sandwich, you go to Factors. You want to see some people in the business, you go to Nate and Al's. You want the best variety? My secret spot's the Nosh. Now here's the inside scoop on politics and news. You go watch the Young Turks live every day at 6 o'clock Eastern.
All right, welcome back. Always good to be with you. All right, let me read some of these comments. Underwear chef. This is great news. Any day innocent people are not being fired on is a good day. That said, I'm still a little skeptical. I fear that Netanyahu might be doing this to make Trump look good at the moment while buttering him up for whatever he has planned after the 40-day ceasefire. But for now, I'm glad to see it, even if it means we have to deal with the tangerine tornado. All right. Talking about the child that was arrested. That's because they adultified her. They routinely adultify Black children. That's true. Studies have shown this. And Mongoose Dragon, greetings, Dr. Richie, Mr. Smiley. Out goes Genocide Joe, and in comes another exhausting 4 years of chaos. Tax breaks and the Sparrow Boy. Let's go to YouTube. Yep. Love Big 41. The first thing the cop said was, "You're going to lie and say that it isn't you." That's right. You picked up on that. That's true. Okay. All right. Got something for you. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish Karen would.
You want to call the police on them for having a barbecue on a Sunday.
I feel free. Back off.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
You could have not doing nothing. You could have slid over. Mister, move. Because I'm not playing with you. Because you could have slid over. Like, all drugs aside. Like, come on. You could have slid over. It's a suitcase. You got a bag. Like, y'all act like I compromise with people. Act like what a pixel gonna do?
Now that's called packing your peace. Put up the picture again. Look how peaceful this ride became. I mean, all of the drama immediately stopped. You see, you never know who you'll run up on because, there are people who, they care about themselves. They love themselves. They love their family, and they're going to go home that day, regardless of your plans. Ricky, that's called de-escalation, brother. That individual sat down pretty quickly once he saw what was happening. What say you?
Absolutely. I had one refuse to let me recline my seat on a flight to Charleston. And I took a deep breath, counted to 10, and got up out of my seat and went in the aisle with him, put my finger in his face and told him exactly what he was going to do.
Yes, sir.
And by the time I went back to my seat, when I reclined my seat, I faced him and reclined it. I said, that's what I thought. Flight attendant came and said, "Did we have a problem?" I said, "No, we don't have a problem." I looked at him, I said, "Did we have a problem?" He said, "No, I don't have a problem." So when the plane landed, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was him apologizing.
There you go.
Because I wasn't playing no games. I'm a classy man and I demand respect. I don't care if I have on a Nike jogging suit. Respect me, all right? Because you can't cross your legs on a plane. It's not enough room. You are not at home. We all are entitled to recline our seats, period. So don't play no games. Hey, play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
That's right. And he got one. All right, well, here we go. Hell of a thing. Nancy Mace threatens my girlfriend in the spirit, Jasmine Crockett, during a committee hearing. Here it is.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not
call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have.
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will.
am reclaiming my time.
You will not do that. I am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not in order.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order.
Point of order. Order. Oh, I reclaim my time. All right. So let's put up the picture for Mass. I'll give you some background and we have more video, obviously. So the House Oversight Committee went off rails on Tuesday as Representative Nancy Mace, Republican, South Carolina, fumed at Representative Jasmine Crockett. This came as the House voted to ban trans athletes from women's sports. of federally funded institutions. That makes a difference. Federally funded institutions. Crockett spoke again later during the committee meeting and slammed the GOP for attacking, quote, the most vulnerable members of society. Here's more.
Let me tell you something. Y'all need to find some people that actually care about their constituents. And honestly, whenever y'all are ready to work, we on this side of the aisle have always been ready to do what is right by the American people. Instead, what you can continue to do is go after the most vulnerable in our country. The fact that you just sat up there and somehow figured out how to tie trans folk to your argument makes no sense to me. But let me tell you something. Trans people ain't going nowhere. Just like when the racists wanted to make sure that black people somehow were going to be dismissed in this country, we ain't left either. And I'll yield.
Would you yield back?
I'll yield.
All right, let me give you some background. So the House passed legislation. This was Tuesday that would ban transgender athletes from participating in women's and girls sports at schools and institutions receiving federal funds. Quick note, no federal funds, no issue, all right? Federal funds issue. The bill, which would also amend federal law to say that, quote, a sex shall be recognized based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth, was approved largely along party lines in a 218 and 206 vote. Only two Democrats voted for the measure. You have Henry Collier and Vincent Gonzalez. Representative Don Davis, DNC, voted present, and no Republican opposed the measure. So now it actually heads to the Senate. AOC kind of lays out this bill and why. Here it is.
Here we are today. Republicans who have voted consistently against the Violence Against Women Act, who have taken away the right of all women to choose and have control over their own body, who, as women are bleeding out in parking lots across the country, standing there, allowing us to die, now want to pretend today that they care about women. And why? To open up gender and, yes, genital examinations into little girls in this country in the so-called name of attacking trans girls. I know who loves this bill. Yes, bigoted folks love this bill. Assaulters love this bill. But also, CEOs love this bill. Because Los Angeles is on fire right now. And this is the number one priority this majority has. Thank you, and I yield back.
Let me give you some context. Republicans are raising money on this, okay? School systems all across the United States of America, both in cities and in rural areas, have been dealing with this issue prior to the federal government getting involved, prior to Congress making it an issue. Congress makes it an issue, and they will show you this debate full mass, as I say. But then they will vote the same on banks. They will vote the same on policies that affect commerce and homelessness and how can we get out of the housing crisis. And they will give you this red meat, and I'm talking to those who are especially in the MAGA crowd. You see, the transgender argument is a proxy argument for all of the other bigoted arguments that they make. And God bless the Democrats who are standing firm, as some of them have changed their mind on this when they would have voted with a lot of Republicans prior. But because of the polarization of politics and because of the extreme right, they have drawn a line in the sand because they understand that these votes are not moves and checkers. They are, in fact, moves in chess. So with one vote comes another. With one agreement comes attached another agreement. And all of a sudden, the tapestry of agreements in the Republican Party is to say no to this group, no to that group, no to the next group. Well, if we said no to this group, that group, and the next group, obviously we can say no to you. Understand what they're doing. Don't fall for that game. They are not playing in good faith. They are trying to disrupt progress for more than just one demographic. All right, Ricky, no matter what your agreement or disagreement may be, you can't go around threatening Ms. Crockett. Can't do that.
Yeah, no. And she didn't want to take that outside. Because anybody that ever wanted to take something outside just took it outside without having to say it, right?
That's
because
right.
If she wanted to take Miss Crockett outside, she would have met her at the steps or whatever. But you said that's one of those. Let's take this outside so people can hold her, and she's gonna say, "Let me go back. Let me go. Hold me back. No, let me go." But whatever. But they ran on during this last presidential election. They raised a lot of money and they ran on this issue. They put pictures of transgender people out and made people think that, if Joe Biden if Kamala Harris become president of the United States, the transgenders were going to take over. And it's like, and it made everybody angry. And, angry is a manifestation of fear or whatever. Right. So, it got everybody ginned up and riled up and, and it actually worked, whatever. So they just using that stuff, those particular issues to gaslight Americans to get our attention off of the issues that really need to be talked about.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Just as Representative Crockett said, they're trying to connect arguments that don't connect. They naturally don't connect, but this is when you don't actually engage representative politics in good faith. We got more on the other side. It's indisputable. Stick and stay.
Our audience has given us everything, so we couldn't be more connected. When we first started, people would start giving us directions and say, okay, the mics are too large, move them. Turn them into lav mics. I mean, they were incredible. And then one guy walked in and gave us a really expensive switcher and said, you guys need this, and walked out. Okay, it's amazing. They helped us build a studio. They did a $2 million funding campaign for us. And so they really are us. We do this show together to the point where some of our hosts are even former listeners. So when we say that the audience is part of TYT, we really mean it.
I think what the audience also appreciates is especially if they're members, they really get an inside look into who we are, our personal lives, what drives and motivates us. It goes beyond just storytelling. I think that what we do is allow our viewers and our listeners into our daily lives, and we give them kind of like this inside look into everything that we're passionate about and why it is that we're doing what we're doing, right? Like the motivation behind what we're doing, I think is important for our audience to know, and we're not shy about sharing that with them. And it's different from what people typically see in legacy media outlets where everything is kind of dry and robotic and there's really no personality or authenticity that comes along with it. Oftentimes when we're doing the show, I don't really think of it as me telling them stories. I think of it as us having a mutual respect and conversation with one another. And as I said earlier, I mean, not only do I feel that through the work I do, I'm informing our audience, but they inform me oftentimes as well. They'll pitch stories to us. They'll tell us, a certain perspective or angle to a story that we might have missed. And I love it.
You're about to watch some behind the scenes footage of the Young Turks. Ooh. Now, these are partial videos. If you want to get all of them, you become a member. Go to tyt.com/join, and you'll get all the behind the scenes of me, Anna, John, JR, a little bit reality show like tyt.com/join, and enjoy this.
You know what you're seeing behind me? Jersey. Hold. Watch me flip this camera. However I flip it. Do I flip it like this? No, I just took a picture. I'm bitzing right now.
What?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. For members? I don't have my face on.
She doesn't have her face on, folks. Oh, that's JR's ass right there.
You can't take 5 minutes off, can you?
No, I can't, Johnny. Bye. I said it was live stream, but I was lying. It's not a live stream. It's just for members.
Bitsy, this is my cat. You know what his name is? Kiki Cat. Animals are innocent.
Control room and the insanity is obviously there.
Right now, as you can see, I'm directing or tech directing.
I'm so happy to be here.
This is what like a Labor Day beard looks like for Jank. Man, you're a young tourist viewer if you recognize me like this.
Oh, thank you. You are the one person in my life I would love to meet.
What's going on, guys? This is a Bitsy or a BTS or behind the scenes with Hassan Piker, aka Woke Bay.
Oh, hi, I didn't see you there.
I have finished my show, The Damage Report, and now I get into a really awkward time of the day.
When I'm sitting, the control room is right there. So I can see Bart.
This is the Pittsburgh office, by the way. I'll refer to often as the boiler room.
You see how it's ripped? Is it super unprofessional to wear that at a business meeting? Or am I like cool rebel?
I just finished doing the power panel and I'm fired up.
What do you do for TYT?
Not a whole lot.
If you're frantically tweeting at us that something's broken, thank you, because I'm fixing it.
And thank you for being a TYT member.
Super last thing, because there's always got to be a super last thing. Oh, that was disastrous. This has been behind the scenes, behind the scenes.
All right, welcome back. Don't forget, if you missed the live show or miss right after the live show, you can always catch Indisputable via podcast, virtually anywhere, everywhere you get podcasts. We are very thankful for the success of the podcast. Listen Notes has us in the top 1% of most listened to podcasts globally. And we won the 2024 Best News and Politics Podcast Award by Black Podcast Awards. Very thankful, very honored for that. All because of you. I'm not all that special. It's you who makes the engine roar. All right, we appreciate you. Okay, I got a bunch of comments. We'll read as many as I can. V, is it telling that I'm a New Yorker? Because I saw this and I couldn't stop laughing. Welcome to the NY City bus. And Dex. All right, Dex, I'm trying to get through this, okay? Dex says, that is how you broker peace through strength, AKA I'm just saying, sit your ass down. Sit your ass down to be quiet. That sister could teach de-escalation tactics to the police and Israel. All right?
Right.
All right. I appreciate that, Jesse. So Jesse Johnson says, by the way, Dr. Rashad, you're rocking the whole outfit today. Very thankful. I appreciate it. It was intentional. All right. Well, what if I told you that Black teens racially harassed by classmates? You would say, that's kind of normal. We've heard that. But also the school newspaper. Put it up full mast. This is a twist on something already twisted. A Black North Carolina teens have been called cockroaches in school, in the school newspaper, faced more racist attacks from adults after a local broadcast aired their experience. That's according to a now filed lawsuit. The federal appeals court decided this week to allow Davina Ricketts, a former North Carolina high school student, to continue pursuing her racial discrimination lawsuit against the Wake County Public School System, its Board of Education, and numerous school officials. Ricketts alleges that school and district officials did not intervene and were deliberately indifferent to the racial harassment and cyberbullying she endured from other students during and after a student council election in 2016. The decision of the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals on Tuesday reversed a trial judge's order in 2022 dismissing Ricketts' lawsuit and sent it back to the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina. Ricketts was a sophomore at Enloe High School in 2016 when she decided to run for student council in hopes, this is a quote, in hopes of remedying its lack of diversity, end quote. Noted appeals court judge Roger Gregory, in his opinion on behalf of a unanimous 3-judge panel, instead, she, quote, was met with racial harassment and bullying from her peers, he wrote. That included being compared to a cockroach and having her name purposely left off the ballot, she claims. In her amended complaint filed in 2021, Ricketts chronicles multiple instances of alleged discrimination against herself and 3 other Black classmates who ran for student council. Now, number one, they were indifferent. Why is that important in the lawsuit? Because they have a duty not to be indifferent. They have a duty to intervene. They have a duty to be responsible, a duty of care. And so this is a legal term of art. Also, the others who face discrimination are noted in the lawsuit as well. It's not just her. And it's interesting. Why would they go through such extremes to keep her off the ballot if she did not have a chance to actually be competitive and win? Typically, when you see something like this, there are individuals who do not want to see a cultural shift. Unfortunately, it seems as if adults were the ones orchestrating this as well. In her amended complaint, Ricketts chronicles multiple instances of alleged discrimination against herself and the 3 Black classmates who ran for council. The campaign posters, promotional book bag, tags of the 4 Black students were defaced, ripped, and thrown around the school building, she claims, while the campaign materials of white students were not. Once again, no intervening by the faculty. When election day came, Ricketts discovered her name and the names of the other 3 black candidates were not on the junior class ballot. The omission was explained by school officials as a technical glitch with the election website and an inadvertent error by a student in charge of updating a Google Doc listing the candidates' names. But Ricketts told school officials it, quote, looked like discrimination to her. Her complaint says the school principal and other officials refused to talk to the black students and their parents about their concerns and ultimately decided to hold a new election, including requalifying, campaigning, and making speeches instead of simply correcting the ballot. This change angered many students and hurled accusations in the hallway that, quote, black kids caused the re-election, and other comments that made Ricketts feel physically threatened. Now, remember, the remedy is easy. The remedy is simple. How difficult can it be to organize a school election? I mean, how difficult can it be to put the child's name on a piece of paper? Easy remedy. But see, I believe these individuals are a little more than just malicious. I believe that they decided to take this route because they knew the students would be adverse to the black children who were making the complaint, and rightfully making the complaint at that. Rightfully making the complaint. There's more. Ricketts was the only one of the original 4 black students in her class to run for election a second time. Good for you. Her campaign materials were again destroyed, while white students' materials remained intact. After the bomb threats, the cumulative harassment and hostile environment made her fearful to attend school, she claims. During the re-election period, the April edition of the Enloe School newspaper was published and was riddled, quote, was riddled with racial stereotypes and derogatory remarks toward minority students, Gregory wrote. This is the judge writing this. Noting that multiple articles parodied the events of the student election. In one article, quote, a cockroach named D.D. wrote from Southeast Raleigh, a predominantly black district, tells all, and said their kind were drastically underrepresented in student government, et cetera, et cetera. Ricketts did not win a seat on the student council when the election occurred a few weeks later in March of 2016. Following the election, she was not selected for the new season of the varsity cheerleading team, retaliation, though she had been on the team for 2 years before. Ricketts, who is now a clinical researcher in Philadelphia, told Atlanta Black Star, quote, I'm thrilled with the Fourth Circuit's decision, and I look forward to proving my case in district court. Keep a picture up, man. That is one of the best among us. Mm-hmm. Warrior spirit at a young age at that, doesn't understand what backing down means when it comes to standing up for herself. Ricky, when I see young people with this kind of vigor, this kind of righteous fight, it gives me a level of peace and relaxation, because see, that's our future leader. They are our future leaders, man. And no matter what, they won't be denied, brother. They won't be denied. What say you?
Yeah, that's your future Jasmine Crockett right there.
That's right.
I'm sure a lot of people in Congress went through some of the same thing. Ain't this funny that Bush versus Gore and made it into high school? And
that's
always,
right.
right. And y'all, and they always try to say that we are living in the past when they are there's a whole new generation. Here it is 2025, and we still dealing with some of the things that was done to us in the past to keep us out of office. And yeah, when you feel like a ship in momentum. I remember standing up for a high school friend who was trying to be kicked off a ballot in high school, and that was in '87. And
wow.
And they always have a way. They have a way of explaining off everything. They can explain whether it's a police brutality, it's always some kind of technical glitch that has this big cause of something happening against Black folks, you know. And I'm just not surprised. But I just really hope that young lady, wish her well. And sometimes you have to do things just for the principle of the matter.
That's right. There you
just
go.
for the principle of the matter. And I will. Can I add this?
Yeah.
I need all college, not college, but high school and college athletes. When you're dealing with that kind of discrimination, take your talents elsewhere. Get off their football team and get off their basketball team and hit them in the pocket, okay? And make them be fair all around. Because, like I said in the previous show, you have to have on a University of Ohio State or Alabama, Georgia Bulldog, or LSU football helmet on just to get treated. Don't get me started, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I know, dear brother. I remember a few years ago when a football team said, we're not taking that field until their president is gone.
Absolutely.
And it happened. All right.
Absolutely.
We got more on the other side. It's indisputable stick and stay.
Hey everyone, Mateo Scarapour here, author of Black Buck, which is Shop TYT's first fiction book ever. I'm honored. So, Black Buck is about a young man named Darren who's living in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. He lives with his mom, he has his girlfriend, he has his best friend, he has his neighborhood, and his neighborhood has him. Darren's also working at a Starbucks in Midtown Manhattan. And one day, this man, real suave and good looking, comes in and asks Darren to give him his regular. But for some reason, Darren says no. This man named Rhett Daniels, who's the CEO of a startup called Someone, located on the 36th floor of the same building, is impressed. And he invites Darren upstairs, and then he extends an offer to join his elite sales team. Darren reluctantly joins, and he soon realizes that he's not the only Black salesperson there. He's the only Black person in the entire company. So he goes through hell and back in order to make it to the top. And once there, he has status, money, power, but he says, you know what? I don't like being the token Black guy. So he hatches a plan to help other people of color infiltrate America's tech startup sales teams, redefining what it means to be a minority in the workplace. This book definitely, if you couldn't tell, touches on many things that are relevant to this moment that we're all living in right now. But it's also connected to the many moments in history that have come before today. I hope that you read it. I hope that you enjoy it. And if you want to order a copy, go to shoptyt.com. Thank you, be well, and happy 2021.
Here's the inside scoop on diners in LA. You want good pastrami sandwich, you go to Factors. You want to see some people in the business, you go to Nate and Al's. You want the best variety? My secret spot's the Nosh. Now here's the inside scoop on politics and news. You go watch the Young Turks live every day at 6 o'clock Eastern.
All right, welcome back. A lot of show left. Okay, hell of a thing. Carrie Underwood is performing at the Trump inauguration. Some people are shocked, others not so much. Here it is.
Carrie Underwood, what happened to putting Louisville sluggers into the headlights of men who cheat? What happened to that? Oh, we can just sing at their inaugurations now? That's just cool, fun, and fret? What happened to carving your name into his leather seats? Doesn't apply anymore, I guess.
How's that one Carrie Underwood song go? She dragged her tongue along his shoes and licked every square inch of his lifted boots. Got on her knees and kissed his golden ring. Took a millionaire's money who hates her life, shaking her shorts for his creeping eyes. Maybe next time she'll thank for she sings. What do you expect for the queen of pop country?
Oh,
kind of like his version. It's don't quit your day job. But all right, put it up full mass. Hell of a story. Okay, here we go. So singer Carrie Underwood has been announced. She is singing at Trump's inauguration. This has caused some outrage and news that isn't all that surprising, but maybe shocking to some. Carrie Underwood is a Trump Republican, number one. On Monday, Axios reported that Underwood is scheduled to perform at the inauguration on January 20th. Underwood will perform America the Beautiful with the Armed Forces Chorus and the United States Naval Academy Glee Club. In a statement shared on Monday, January 13th, the country's star, 41 years of age, explained her reasoning for playing during... Let me just say this. Ladies and gentlemen, there was a time when you could perform for a presidential inauguration and did not have to release an explanation as to why. Okay. So she did provide an explanation as to why she's doing this. Quote, I love our country and am honored to have been asked to sing at the inauguration and to be a small part of this historic event. So the American Idol winner said in a statement to People, quote, I am humbled to answer the call at a time when we must all come together in the spirit of unity. I can't do this. I can't do this. You're going to the disunity inauguration. They will have a disunity rally after the disunity inauguration. It's gaslighting, okay? So she's saying that she's answering the call to be there for her country. At the 2013 CMAs, the singer who co-hosted the Country Award Show, alongside Brad Paisley, performed a number mocking the Affordable Care Act, which poked fun at how long it took to sign up for Obamacare Online. While Underwood and Paisley were waiting for the site to load, they joked that they were about to develop every ailment from hemorrhoids to dementia. Underwood's husband, a retired NHL star, Mike Fisher, has been more openly political, offering support to NFL star Aaron Rodgers when he came out against COVID-19 vaccines in 2021. I stand with Aaron Rodgers, former Nashville Predators captain, wrote in an Instagram post. Meanwhile, this TikTok alleges that Underwood has a terrible reputation in the industry of country music. Here it is.
And I forget that a lot of people only know of Carrie Underwood from her poppy early days post-American Idol and aren't necessarily privy to country music or country music fans or country music gossip. Because Carrie Underwood has been talked about as being the meanest person in country music for a very long time. And this is all hearsay, but she's apparently super rude to staff. She's super mean and abusive to like makeup artists and hair artists, bullies women in the industry because she thinks she's hot. Allegedly. Like, I went to Nashville last year to go see Taylor Swift, and our Uber driver, because I'm a big country music fan, and I was asking him, ooh, who have you met? How are they like? And he said without hesitation that the rudest, most awful of all of the country artists that have places in Nashville is Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood has played America's Princess for a very long time, but she has always been really deep with the NFL. She has always been deep with her country roots, and she has always been super conservative as well. Like, Jesus, take the wheel. Come on.
She had all the tea. All right, Ricky, listen, here's my thing. If you're going to do it, if you're going to say it with your chest. Yeah. Don't go there talking about you're doing this for unity when you know they are totally adversarial to any notion of unity. Like, be 100%, be authentic. If you're going to be a Trumper, be a real Trumper.
Yeah, do like black people do. Stand on it. You know, that's what we say. We say something, we mean something, and when we say, I stand on that, that means that we meant what we said, and we said what we meant. So, you know, never mind women's rights, never mind woman's right to choose, never mind civil rights. I guess you forgot about January 6th and all of the sexual assaults and everything that Trump, like, it's almost like, hey, man, it is what it is, and she is who she is. And a lot of times people are attracted to people that they are like. Yep. You know, people with a certain mindset, they're going to always feel comfortable around each other. You know, so if she is what everybody says she is, like the you know, the person was talking about when she asked the man when he asked the Uber driver about her personality, and that's what her reputation is. Then who does that sound like? Sound like Trump, right? Okay, there you go. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, she fits right in, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting twist. So TikTokers migrate to Chinese app Red Note ahead of TikTok ban. Here it is.
After the TikTok ban, we are heading to Red Note. I've been using this app for several months now, and it's mainly used by Chinese users. It is owned by the Chinese. How funny would it be if they banned TikTok and we all just move over to this Chinese app?
I just downloaded Red Note, and all I can say is that Instagram is gonna go out real sad. And watch this. 漂亮女孩在哪里? These are light years ahead of us. First thing I see on this app is Luigi content and fine throwing fits, bro. I saw a post that said black people are greater than, and it was just a collage of dark-skinned, beautiful people. Mark Zuckerberg was scared of me giving up my data. Bitch, I'm about to give that straight to Xi Jinping in a red envelope. 我讨厌美国. And get it. And the best part is I don't even got to introduce these to communism. The app is literally Instagram, Tumblr, and TikTok all squeezed into one, bro.
我要恭喜美国政府引起 TikTok 导演。我是要红书上黑网友找到了公共的发生我有很多人口朋友找了很多些这些工会没有你们这一切都不可能实现他的工会我会给人口他们想要的人东西
See what happens when you let kids go to college at no personal cost. Put it up full mass, man. All right, here we go. So as TikTok anxiously awaits a Supreme Court decision that could determine whether it will be banned in the United States, users are preemptively fleeing the app and migrating to another Chinese social media platform, Little Red Book. It was the most downloaded free app in the US Apple Store on Tuesday. Over how many people? 300 million. Mostly in China use the app where they share short videos as well as still text-based posts. people flocking to it, said in interviews and on the app that they wanted to show they do not share Washington's concerns about TikTok's ties to China. The newcomers, who refer to the app as Red Note or the Chinese version of Instagram, and call themselves TikTok refugees, are relying on translation tools to navigate the app's mostly Chinese ecosystem, by the way. Some say they are hoping to rebuild communities they had on TikTok, while others say they joined the app out of spite and to undermine the U.S. government's decision to ban TikTok over concerns that the Chinese government could use the app and surveil Americans. Quote, I would rather stare at a language I can't understand than ever use a social media platform that Mark Zuckerberg owns, said one user in a video posted to Red Note on Sunday. There are countless number of similar clips in which TikTok refugees introduced themselves and explain why they decided to come to Red Note, many raking up thousands of likes and comments each. Man, all right, so I got to say this. My dear brother and friend, he has an app called Fanbase. All right, Black owned. Isaac Hayes III, good brother, good friend. You can try him too. All right, Ricky, thoughts here.
I done pulled up the wrong red book. These ladies so thick. Yeah, I don't know what book you talking about, but
you too, Ricky.
I done found me I just logged on the wrong red book, but I like it.
That ain't it, brother. That's not the one.
I know you ain't gonna ever have me on the show again.
Oh, man. Listen, man. They are determined, brother. What I tell you, these folks are learning Mandarin.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, to say the least.
Yes, sir.
All right. Brother, always good to have you on the program. Tell people how they can follow you and continue checking out your great work.
Hey, make sure you listen to the Ricky Smiley Morning Show every morning, especially on our great station up in the left corner of the state of Alabama that's owned by Dr. Rashid Ritchie. What's our affiliate there?
It's a few.
It's a few? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So man, thank you for the opportunity that you've given our platform to be on your radio stations. And make sure you check me out at rickysmiley.com and order my book, and it will help you on grief. It's called Sideshow. It's an easy read, a great book, and make sure you check it out.
Yes. Thank you, dear brother, for all you do, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of the planet. Remember, the truth is always indisputable.